Obviously we saw you earlier this summer. I mean, frustrating one, but I mean, are there still lessons to be taken at this point in your career? I mean, do you still learn from fights, or you just go, that happens?
Yeah, man. Surprisingly, there's still a lot to learn in this game, and the last fight was definitely one of those lessons. I mean, for me, the biggest thing is just like getting complacent. And it's not even like getting complacent to the point that I'm just like not going to the gym or I'm not like putting in the work that I need to put in. But for more so, it's like the number of distractions that I have around me at this point. I mean, it was almost easier being 24, 25 in UFC, where literally all I had to do was take care of my dog and go to the gym, and I can spend 8 hours a day there, and there was nothing else to prioritize outside of that. But now, like, being in a position where like I have a business outside of fighting, I have real estate outside of fighting, I have 2 kids to worry about, I have a marriage to worry about. It's like all these different things that like aren't necessarily negatives, but they're at the end of the day, they end up being distractions, especially in the training camp. Just learning how to kind of prioritize those things and still be present at the same time is the difficulty. And my last fight definitely put me in a position to kind of start figuring that thing out a lot more.
Yeah, you kind of have to be selfish to be successful in this thing, right? I mean, were you able to find a little bit more balance this time around?
Yeah, for sure. It's like, to give you guys a little bit of insight, like my last fight, for example, my wife was expecting our child to be born the week of my fight. So for me, it was like his due date was going to be June 21st. My fight was scheduled for June 25th. So in my mind, I was like, okay, cool. I can handle that. It's not a big deal at all. I'll be present when he's born. Like, all right, son, I'll see you in a couple days. Dad has a job to do. I'll be back. But at the same time, I also was like working on 2 of my investment properties where I had 2 complete renovations going on top of a training camp and expecting a newborn. At the end of all that, my son ended up being born 6 weeks premature. Fortunately, he didn't have any like significant like health issues or anything like that. He spent 2 weeks in the NICU, and he was able to come home and had no like significant issues at all. But it ended up being like hard to balance it all. But like, I'm not a guy to shy away from difficult situations or adversity. I was like, okay, cool, I got it. Sorry about that. I can figure it out. I can handle this all. Like, it's not a big deal at all. But the reality of it is, there's no way I can like effectively be a present father, be a present husband, be present in training camp, and be present on 2 separate renovations and get those things all done well. I can do them okay. I can do them average, but find the best guys in the world that can't afford to go in there with the idea of like, okay, cool, I had an okay training camp. I had an okay fight week. I need to make sure that like the training is impeccable. Like, there's no flaws, no holes in it. I make sure I check every box that I need to, and I'm going in there getting the job done.
Very nice. So you had to change the schedule around a little bit. Did that affect you or impact you in any way, having to delay the fight a few weeks?
No, I mean, in reality, like getting the notice that the fight got pushed back actually worked in my favor, where I had a teammate who was literally going through a lot of different issues, and unfortunately back in August he ended up losing his brother, and he was something that he was really struggling with mentally for a while, and my fight getting pushed back in the timing that it did, it kind of allowed me to kind of have a conversation with my coach, like, all right, cool, the fight's getting pushed back 3 weeks, what do you guys want me to do? Especially that the notice came in the week of the fight. Like, I was literally like Monday already water loaded, getting ready to go fight. He's like, hey, your fight is postponed, hang on a second. Like, all right, that's a bummer. So putting together a plan with the coaches where they're like, all right, we're going to make this a rest week. We're going to force you to kind of like not be in the gym and overdo it so you can peak at the right time or whatever. It kind of like freed me out to be able to be there for my teammate. And ultimately, I feel like that was the best place I could have been that night. I mean, he and I were scheduled to fight a day apart, and I know he was in a position where he definitely needed a friend to be there for him. So for me, it was a blessing in disguise. I was literally like excited when the fight got pushed back. I was like, oh wait, really? I'm not fighting until November. I immediately just like jumped on the phone while I was on the United app, rebooking my flight to go to his fight. So it worked out great.
That's awesome. What do you think about the matchup? What does Daniel? I mean, you've seen everything, I guess, at this point in your career. But what does Daniel present to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great match. I'm definitely excited for it. I mean, Daniel's definitely a talented dude. I mean, to make it this far in the UFC with the record he has, you definitely don't get here by being a slouch. So I definitely realized that it's a huge test in front of me going out here fighting Daniel Rodriguez. But I'm excited for it. I mean, I feel like I have a lot to prove coming off my last fight. And I feel like he's in a position where he wants to do the same as well with the naysayers around his last fight. I mean, myself included, I was one of the guys that doubted him. So I could definitely feel like that would be some motivation motivation for him to come out guns blazing to prove a point. And for me, that's the kind of fight that excites me. I know I can't go in there and kind of like coast or take it easy because there's a guy coming in there trying to knock my head off. So I got to go out there and do it first.
Nice. Last thing for me, I just wanted to ask you, I think 10 years since The Ultimate Fighter, man, and I just wondered, you know, can you put yourself back in position at that point in your career? I mean, did you think I'll be competing at the highest level of the sport in the UFC for the next decade, you know, when you're on The Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, man. It's like crazy to look back and see how long it's been that I've been here for now, especially like with the way that my UFC career started. I didn't win The Ultimate Fighter, and my UFC career started going 1-2 that first year, and I was like literally in a point like, all right, maybe this is as far as I've come with this sport. I literally remember walking into training one day, and I'm like, man, dude, I'm probably about to get cut. I lost 2 fights in a row. I haven't heard from UFC in a while. Like, it might be it. And Donald Cerrone at the time was just like, why don't you just email UFC now and get the train? There's nothing you can do about it anyway. So you email them now, ask for a fight. They give it to you, great. They cut you, great. But there's no point in sitting around bitching about it right now because it's not going to change anything. So I was like, all right, you know what? You're right. Screw it. Here we go. Let's see what happens. And I sent the email, set my phone down, went ahead and trained. And after training, I had a fight in my email for a couple weeks later, and I was like, all right, cool, absolutely, I'll do it. And that fight started a 7-fight win streak for me in the UFC, and it kind of like catapulted my career to where it is now. So I'm definitely grateful that I stuck with it, and I didn't make that decision to kind of hang it up and move on, so to speak. So I'm definitely fortunate to be here 10 years later. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, guys.